Hi, my name is Heidi Porter, and we're here today as part of a program called Solarize Meridian to talk about a specific program for solar energy and how to get solarized. And my name is Heidi Porter. I'm just your regular old homeowner who has installed solar, in fact, two solar systems that you'll find out about. And Pete Morgan is here from Absolute Environmental Solutions Solar Power, and John Sarver from the Meridian Township Energy Team that I am also a part of. So today's meeting agenda is going to be mostly Pete and I, and John will help out with some questions too. This is the agenda, why to go solar, how I got my solar installers, plural, and some basics about tax credits and a particular program we're offering for groups that implement solar together. And then we'll do some Q&A. So why go solar? Well, everybody has their different reasons why they want to go solar, but some of them for me are that it's renewable energy. It's financially smart because it pays for itself in 10 years, and then you're basically getting that solar energy for free while your panels continue to last 25 plus years. It adds value to the home because you have that extra power generation facility, and there's currently no increase in property taxes for the solar system. There really is little to no maintenance. There can be no maintenance unless you want to shovel the snow off of them. I've pretty much not had to do anything with my solar panels as far as maintenance. Another thing I added here that I don't think a lot of people have talked about, but it's really pertinent at this time in July 2022, is energy prices. Are going higher. There's a lot of inflation, and when I bought my solar, they were a lot lower. And so even my calculation for my payback time is a lot less now because the energy prices are higher. And then for this particular program that we've put together with the installer, every meeting attendee who decides to buy a system together adds another 1% discount for everyone. I'll let Pete talk about this more. But it's basically you get these group discounts to implement solar as a group. And along with the discount, you also get a 26% federal tax credit through 2022 if you install in 2022, or in 2023 it just drops to 22%. So not a huge difference. So how did I select my solar installer? Well, the first install was in 2016. And, actually at the time when I wanted to install solar, I looked around for several years to look for a solar installer that would do residential in Michigan. So this was like 2014, 2015. And I had a hard time. We didn't have this kind of program where Meridian Township knows a lot of the solar installers. We didn't have a local installer like Absolute Solar, and it just took me a lot of research to find a solar installer. And I finally found Peninsula Solar through someone on the Meridian Township Energy Team. I did get proposals from two other companies, one from Detroit, and I can't remember where the other was from. But I picked Peninsula Solar because they knew a lot about the regulations. They were thinking of taking away net metering at the time, which they eventually did. Knew a lot about batteries, and and so I compared them with the other people and asked a lot of questions and chose them. And so everybody also has their different reasons why they choose particular solar companies. And then the second install, I knew these guys from Absolute Solar, Absolute Environmental Solutions, because they came on and they started doing local installations, and they did the Meridian Township array, and I worked with them and the energy team. And I just really wanted to support a local business, especially a local solar installer here. And I knew their work, and I think they're great. So that's how I chose them. So just to give the preview of the, the final bake system here, like Julia Childs did with her cooking. These are the two solar systems I had installed. I think you can see all 9 there. Yeah. So I have 10 on the garage roof. That was my first installation in 2016. And then I have 9 on the main roof. And so the first install, just making sure no one needs to enter, was in 2016 in March. It was snowing actually. I have pictures of the guys up on the roof, the garage roof with the snow. And back then, I was able to get into net metering, and I won't talk about that because that is gone, except for us, those who are grandfathered in. My back of the house and garage is southeast facing, which works pretty well. And, although that's, not ideal, it still works very well. And these are the specs on the solar panels that I got. So one of the things I would say, just as an addition on this, talking about putting solar in your home, is when I first got our solar system, I did not get a monitor because I just didn't think I needed it. And there's just a lot of satisfaction of having a monitor to see what you're producing, what you're sending out to the energy company, what you're using. It's just really satisfying to have, and it doesn't cost that much extra. So I would highly advise that. And then our second solar system was after we had done an addition on the main part of the house. We got another 9 panels put on, and we put like black, you can see in the picture, and I'll show the picture again. We got black to kind of integrate with the black roof. You have some different choices in PV panels as far as coloring, and we were still on net metering. So there again is the picture of our 2 systems, back of the garage and top of the living room, dining room. So here's just a nice little picture. John, did you make this picture or did someone else?
No, I stole it. I stole it from somebody.
Okay, yes, it's a stolen picture. How it actually works with your house. And that's interesting because it's just like our house. It's on top of the living room there. You have the solar panels, you have a mounting system that they sit on top of. And you can see how it all wires up over to the utility pole. And you're connected to the grid. Do you want to say anything more about this picture, John?
The only thing I'll mention is that, the typical situation is during the summer, you may be producing more than you even need. And so then that excess goes to the utility, and you can build up some bill credits. And then what happens in the winter, typically, you're not getting as much production because there's not as much sunshine. And so you're getting more power from the utility than you would during the summer. But that's the point at which the bill credits come in handy, because you have excess during the summer, you earn those bill credits, and then the bill credits come in handy during the winter when you're not producing as much, and it kind of balances itself out. Yeah, with a grid connected system, that's the system that I have. You're basically using the utility as your kind of storage. They don't actually store the electrons, but they take them and they resell them, and then they give you a bill credit that you can use later in the year.
Yep. And that's exactly what happens for us. And just a little trick in case. So we actually got a black roof because we figured that our house actually stays pretty cool in the summer. And that's when we get a lot of sun, we get a lot of solar energy, we get a lot of credits. And then we thought the black roof might help us some in the winter because we still have sun in the winter. And that's when we use more of our energy and more of our solar credit as we kind of eat that up in the winter. So that's why we did the black roof. Plus it looks nice. So the other thing besides the group discount we're talking about, and Pete's going to talk more about that, is the federal tax credit, which is, pretty huge, that you want to look at. It's 26% this year. It's going to go down to 22%. And then it's going to be zero in 2024 unless something changes. And we all know that, tax laws can change and they could reinstitute a 26% or a 22% credit, but you don't know. This is what it is right now. And then, like I said, I'm on net metering, but the new situation is this distributed generation tariff that it's somewhat similar to, well, I guess it's not really similar to net metering, but regardless of whether you're net metering or distributed generation, your excess electricity that you're not using goes to the utility. And then you get a bill credit for what you're sending out to the utility, kind of what you're selling them, which is about half the retail rate. And so this slide talks about this. In summer, where there's more sun, you earn, and more light, you earn bill credits. In winter, you tend to use them up then. And a big thing is your system must be sized to your electrical usage. And what happens is when you start to look at your electrical usage, in order to get solar, you look at what can I cut down on my electrical usage, and you get a little more a bit efficient there, and you size your system. And so you're saving money in two areas: getting more electrically efficient, and then using solar to get your energy, some of your energy. Now there's, one of the things is the solar is a, big upfront cost, right? And then you get the tax credit. But, there's different ways of financing it with a home improvement loan or with a home equity loan. And there's also a program called Michigan Saves that can help with financing. And you can Google that, it's right in Lansing. All right, so Pete.
Thank you very much, Heidi. That was very nicely done. So what we do working with Solarize Meridian is give some just basic information for how the system is set up, what we propose. We can always talk about different options when we get closer to a site visit to size it to your home, to your expectations of what we may like to use. What we're proposing right now are Helene solar panels, which it's a Canadian owned company, but it has 2 sites in the US where they're produced, which basically avoids any of the tariff issues that you may have heard about a couple of months ago. Those have since been rescinded by executive order, but they're a very nice panel. They're a tier 1 panel, 370 watts, 20.1 or 20.3% efficiency. The size is similar to other panels, but they do have a really nice aesthetic. The black cells and the black frames, which look nice on a roof. Like Heidi showed earlier, Iron Ridge Racking, one of the premier racking companies in the US. And the proposal that we will lead off with is a SolarEdge inverter and optimizer system. I can talk about that a little bit more later and why we use that. We're not beholden to any company. It's just for simplicity's sake, it works for a lot of different people. I think we can go ahead and go on to the next slide. Okay, and for pricing, the way that the Solarize Meridian is broken down, and this has been the same across all of the groups that we have, the pricing is based on the size of your system. So if you would like to explore solar, at least talk about it, the first thing we're going to do is ask you for a copy of your utility bill. That gives us the amount of consumption that you used in the last 12 months. And the utilities only allow us to offset 100% of your last year's usage. You can't just say, oh, I'd like to have this many kilowatts. They're a for-profit business, and they're going to limit that to only what you have used. So what we would call a smaller system is less than 5 kilowatts. And that would be priced at $310 a watt. So anything less than 5 kilowatts, $310 a watt. 5 to 10 is relatively normal system. And because it's a little bit bigger, easier to procure materials, then it would be $3 a watt. Anything over 10 is going to go to $295. And so those would be the rates that we're proposing. But for each person that buys in, you'll get a 1% discount on top of that. And I'll just tell you all right now that for participating in the Solarize program, you're automatically going to get a 3% discount. Only if one person signs up. We want to show our appreciation for your supporting Solarize Meridian, for the Meridian Township energy goals that they've set out. And we want there to be some reward, some incentive and payoff for your participation. So that is a benefit of just, even if only one person signs, you'll still get that, that discount. And then you see some of the costs with the discounts and what the federal tax credit does to the price of the systems. And as Heidi says, it really is a nice benefit. So we can move on to the next slide. Yeah, so the deadlines, and I'll just speak a little bit freely here. This is the only thing I don't like about the Solarize Meridian project. And it's only because we want you to be completely comfortable with the system that you have. But we understand that to get these moving around and meet the needs, that does have some deadlines that we need to meet. If you would like a free proposal, you have 1 week to either let me or Heidi know, and then at that point, we will schedule a site visit. We then have 2 weeks to get you a site visit and a proposal. And then after that, you have 2 weeks to decide whether you would like to buy in with the group discount or not. We will definitely be able to, talk about those dates, and so you don't have to remember them right now. But the most important thing right now is going to be, if you would like a quote, and they are free, just let us know within a week, and then we will start setting up everything from there. Email is wonderful. We can also do stuff over the phone. Site visits usually take somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many questions you have. But again, the first thing I'm going to ask for is, once you say, yes, I'd like a site visit, is a copy of your utility bill. And that's only so we can size that system correctly for your needs. And as I said earlier, we can go up to 100%. That's what the utilities will allow. But we're also we can go down as to whatever you want. If you want a 50% offset, if you want 75, if there's a budget that you have, we are more than willing to work with those.
Great. Thanks, Pete. So I wanted to leave this front slide up here so that you see my email. I'm happy to have you see my solar system in person. If you want, you can email me at whatever time. It doesn't need to be in the next week. And correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but within the next week, and I'm going to send this link out to the recording to some other people, is for the discount. But you can certainly contact Absolute Solar or myself at any time to see my solar system or to get a free quote from them for
Yes.
a solar system. So
right. That 1 week is to be in this Solarize group.
Yeah. So that's all we have. Angie, do you have any questions?
No, I only have about 3 minutes, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in a position, I don't believe, right now to really move forward with a quote, because I'm working with some contractors and adding on to my house. So I would assume that the recommendation would be to complete that project before determining what size panels or system, even to get a quote. I don't know.
That's the most accurate way to go about it. We have had people that are doing new builds that only have 1 month of electrical consumption. We try and work with you because we understand that this is important and we want to make a difference in people's lives and in their budget. But yes, that's a very real concern. So we'd be happy to adjust whenever we can, or help you whenever we can.
Okay, well, I appreciate the information, and I'll reach out when that's done and get more information. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck with all that. I'm gonna stop the recording now then and